little problem, and therefore whether to accept or not will depend definitely on the expertise and the relations. The recipient also has to understand that what are the risks involved, what are the complications which are likely to be involved, and if they accept that there is a slightly higher percentage of complication, which most recipients they accept, we can still go ahead and do donor nephrectomy. Now, these are some of the examples where you are really in the dilemma. This is a 62 years old donor. Hypertension on one drug, well controlled, all end organs absolutely perfect, creatinine 1.01, the only donor in the family. And you see that these are this is the donor nephrectomy, where you have the problem on one side, there is a problem on the other side. And if you see here that both renal arteries shows mild irregularities, is more on the left side, moderate narrowing at the proximal segment, left renal artery. And even if you see carefully, even the right side artery shows irregularity. So even if there is a stenosis, and even if you take the left side, the irregularity on the right side persists, and you don't know whether it is really what is going to happen to this donor subsequently. Because whenever we take a donor, all the investigations we have to see to ensure that rest of the life, whatever life he has got, he should not get any problem, any complications, any sequelae because of the donor nephrectomy. And therefore, by the consensus of nephrologists and all other people in our meeting, we decided that this donor is not appropriate for this, because it is possible that this irregularity eventually may cause hypertension and may cause land up in a problem, and therefore this donor was rejected. Sometimes the number of vessels is a problem. Now you see here that there are 3 vessels on the left side, 2 vessels on the right side. The vessels which is actually supplying the middle pole and the hilar region is very, very small. You see here, they are arising from the different parts and they are very small. Sometimes these patients, when you are doing this small anastomosis, have a problem. Right side again, there are 2 vessels, there is always a problem. And this patient, right side, he had a short vein. You see, there are hardly any vein-like structure. There were 3 veins which actually were joining and then opening in the IVC. And therefore, this particular patient had triple vessels on the left side, 3 arteries on the left side, 2 arteries on the right side. There were 3 veins on this, and the vein was very short. And therefore, we decided to take the right side with the IVC cuff, and then we could do the donor without any problem. Sometimes you get the vascular picture like this. You have the right side, which is fairly okay, but left side there is a small vessel. Now, if that 1 millimeter vessel, which is supplying the middle pole or this, it can create a problem. And this is always a dilemma, which side to take, and if at all to accept or not. Quite often, the relations say, no, this is the only donor, Naidu, please do something. They are also very much willing to undergo transplant. And if you see further cuts, you can see that actually that is the vessel is supplying the lower pole, and therefore this dilemma. Now, if you do if you see this here, that left side actually was 41%, right was 58%. Right side donor was quite off. It was quite technical. It was quite easy. But if you do renogram, then left side was contributing less as compared to right. And if you have to keep the right side donor, a better kidney in the donor, we had to take the left side, and therefore these decisions have to be taken combined. So quite often the situation will come that you are forced to take a small renal artery supplying the renal pole, and there is a risk of the ureteric leak due to ischemia, which is more in the this. In case if this gets thrombosed, ischemia complications, mind you, cannot be prevented by just putting a degestant and this that. And therefore, even though you do anastomosis properly, you take utmost care, the risk always exists, and therefore this has to be discussed with the relations, and special precautions to be taken while doing anastomosis. see the vascularity of the lower pole after doing, see whether there is pulsations present or not. Not too long, our ureter should be taken up, and sometimes you can actually join with the native ureter rather than accepting this lower ureter as a thing. So this way you can actually overcome this problem. The next dilemma comes in mind is about the obesity. Well, initially the 30 was put as a cutoff limit, that more than 30 BMI is to be rejected. However, now obesity becoming so much of prevalent, especially all across the world, and now even with our setup in our country, there are many patients who come as a donor, they are obese, and therefore the criteria of obesity over a period of time, with all consensus in most of the guidelines, have been reduced from 30 to 35. So if it is more than 35, definitely you reject the donor. Tell him that it is actually this technically, it is not this more than 35 you are rejecting is not because of the technical difficulty during surgery or the perioperative complications like DVT, chest problems, and things like that. But obesity itself is associated with renal failure in the donor itself. And if you donate one kidney and now he is left out with the single kidney, then these are the patients who are likely to develop CKD, and therefore grossly obese at more than 35 BMI, it is better to reject. You have to encourage them to lose the weight. You have to encourage them that it is not only the short-term losing of weight, but they have to continue losing weight, reducing diet and this. And if they lose the weight properly, maybe in 3 months or 6 months time, and if they give assurance that, okay, then they will continue, they will follow all these things, then those patients can be taken up for the as a donor. Next dilemma comes in the malignancy. If there is any prior history of malignancy, if malignancy potential is, if there is such malignancy where it is potentially cured, there are many malignancies like that. Say, for example, a lady who has got carcinoma in situ cervix, operated, and these are the patients which actually are potentially cured of the malignancy. Also, it has been reported if the CA colon more than 5 years are over, if there is no signs, then obviously these are the patients who can be accepted. But otherwise, by and large, the existing malignancy or even the past history of malignancy of any other organ are not to be taken, simply because there can be recurrences and there can be need for chemotherapy. And if you have a reduced GFR, then the chemotherapy will not be able to be given and they will be compromised. And therefore, all these factors should be taken into consideration. Quite often, the patient will come and insist upon you that, okay, please take my kidney, please take my kidney. But in a situation like this, you have to be very, very clear that the donor, especially mother or father, they are so much attached to their children and they want to donate for the son or daughter. And they say that it doesn't matter now, I want to donate, doesn't matter. But you have to be firm and you have to explain to them that this is not medically appropriate. Now there are, the dilemma comes in ADPKD about the choosing of a donor. Quite often the siblings, they want to donate. Father, mother, you know from where it has come, so it is quite easy. But siblings, if they are more than 40 years, if they have escaped, there are no cysts, obviously they can be taken up as donor. But the problem comes if they have their age is less than 60, say 30, 35, brother, sister. So we have to be certainly, we have to be absolutely certain whether they are likely to be the likely to develop disease or not. There are many criteria which have been given up. If the patient is less than 40, then it is better to do genetic study, which will definitely tell you whether they are escaped the disease or not. Apart from all this, sometimes there are miscellaneous issues which will come up, and these issues actually you have to tackle individually in your meeting. I think now the tumor board for are there for taking the decisions of the tumors treatment. Similarly, I think we have to have the treatments and the boards for taking decisions like that. For example, the complexes, Bosniak 2F, mild hypertension, diabetes, nephrologist will come in picture, any other benign conditions. All these decisions have to be individualized, have to be taken by the respective center. And once you understand that the donor's priority, donor's health is first, then all these dilemmas you can overcome and make sure that donor's life is not jeopardized. At the same time, the recipient is benefiting. Thank you very much.